All right, all right, all right. Here we go again. We are back again. This is Ray Ray.
What's up, Buttercup?
Well, there's DJ Meridium, and we also have DJ Sickness as well.
Oh.
What's going on, guys?
We need a Dr. Feelgood in here, too.
Dr. Feelgood, huh? All right. Well, we are live right now. We are live.
Well, good. Okay.
All right.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I tell you what, yesterday I was so excited about the joy of music, right? I was all preparing. And then while I got, like, high blood pressure from excitement about it, and then I ate raw pancake batter and passed out.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, don't do that. That's not good.
All right. We're going to start off with some awesome band. This is a band, the singer of Ghost of War, who we play on here, and we're going to play more tracks of them, is in a new band also called Rabid Assassination. Rabid Assassination, not Rabbit. And
Okay.
this is a
Glad you clarified.
This is a badass song.
Impaired like me.
This is a badass song, and this is called In for the Kill. And you're listening to TrueLocalRadio.com.
As a material witness on an aggravated battery with a handgun, and they believe might be in retaliation to a testimony.
They lie in wait and smell the blood. We
All right, what did everybody think of the brand new Rabbit Assassin in for the kill?
I need some Tums. Think I need Tums. Yeah.
And
I personally think that was a great song. Very political. That's definitely a band that will be in my CD player very soon.
Hey, we are 2 local radios, so we're a little out there. All right, but this is Sumo Psycho. The name of the song's called Go, Go, Go.
Sumo.
Oh, you didn't know, brother. They're coming after you. They're gonna stick the dogs on your tail. You better run. Go. You made a wrong turn. I thought that you learned. Always another way. Bridges don't have to burn today. Blood on your t-shirt. The people you hurt more than you've intended. Hold on, don't be offended. Not to break this strong. No turning back, not now. Want it all, don't proud. You hit the wrong button. Panic control. Monster for my fault. Gonna go toe to toe with the you better sell your soul. Names on the radio. No self-control. Mom said go, go, go. Mom said go, go, go. They tried to tell me I wouldn't listen. Been so deep in denial. Feels like my heart's on trial. It's true hindsight. It's 2020. Maybe I could have saved you from the destruction you did. You hit the wrong button. Panic control. Monster for my fault. Gonna go toe to toe with the you better sell your soul. Names on the radio. No self-control. Mom said go, go, go. They hit the wrong button. Panic control. Monster for my fault. Gonna go toe to toe with the you better sell your soul. Names on the radio. No self-control. Mom said go, go, go. I can see reasons why you're a sight that's been waiting to buy. Strike on me with your mind. I got to break this strong. No turning back, not now. Want it all, don't proud. You better hit the wrong button. Panic control. Monster for my fault. Gonna go toe to toe with the you better sell your soul. Names on the radio. No self-control. Mom said go, go, go. They hit the wrong button. Panic control. Monster for my fault. Gonna go toe to toe with the you better sell your soul. Names on the radio. No self-control. Mom said go, go, go. Mom said go, go, go. Mom said go, go, go. Mom said go, go, go.
All right. That was Sumo Psycho. Go, Go, Go.
Great band. Great band.
Time flies when we go, go, go.
That's what it's
I was
about.
over in a jiffy. My goodness.
All right. Now, DJ Sickness going to announce the next track.
Yeah, that's correct. We are going to play some Van Kale, Nevermore.
All right. This is Van Kill.
Go,
Dig up, y'all. This is Johnny Wild from the band Blindside Thunder, and you're listening to the best internet radio right here on 2 Loco Radio. Crank it up.
All right, that was some Van Kill, Nevermore.
I like that Johnny Wild, too. He answered a very important question of mine.
What was that?
If he prefers his toilet paper over or under.
All right. All right, I'm here with DJ Meridium.
And DJ Cygnus.
Oh, DJ Cygnus is here as well. All right, now we're gonna play some Belfast six-pack, some brand new that we haven't played before. This is Blackout.
Loco Radio.
All right, we're back. And that was some Belfast six-pack, Blackout.
Yum.
Great song.
You know, they just played a phenomenal, concert. I believe they played with can't think of the name of the band. Well, they played a phenomenal concert.
I believe they're also playing Daisy Dukes in Nashville the same night as the Bent a Break show on the 30th. So if you're in the Nashville area and want to see a really good band, I recommend going.
Awesome.
Okay,
Yeah,
whoever's calling me right now.
yeah. They played with Pinks. I forgot the rest of the name of the band. I do apologize, but they're a great band. All right. Anyway, all right. You want to announce the next track, Mr. Sickness?
Certainly. We are going to play War Clown, Act of Valor.
All right.
Thank
All right, that was War Clown, Act of Valor. Now we're gonna, jump just a little bit of a way to an Ohio metal band. They're called Another Fine Mess, and this song's called Monster. All right. That was Another Fine Mess, Monster. So, DJ Sickness, what did you think about it? You said you never heard of them before.
I'm actually impressed with that band.
Exactly. That's all we play is good bands, man. Non-stop great music. That's what it's about. All right, so who we playing next, Mr. Sickness?
Let's keep the ball rolling with Imprint, Monsters Like Us.
All right, sounds good.
To find myself alone again, and everything I love is gone.
right, now we're gonna go to a song we haven't played in a little while. Go ahead, Miss Meridian. Who are we gonna play?
Could it be? Torque. No compromise.
It could be. Here's Torque, No Compromise.
Oh no.
Something isn't right. You hold a mocking stare, and I am unaware. The answer's so far out of sight, and I won't compromise, and I won't pay the price. Temptation's all about the side. You cannot run from it. This place a total shit. The only out here is a die. And I won't compromise. And I won't be the prize.
All right, we're going to play something brand new. This is Seven Circle Sunrise. Try saying that 10 times fast. Dead
What
Love
happens if you
Letters. You get a cookie. You get a cookie if you can say Seven Circle Sunrise 10 times fast without tripping on your words. You get a cookie.
But you got a lot of people with sweet tooth out there saying it right now.
But you got to take a video of it. That's what it is. You got to take a video on YouTube of you saying 7 circle sunrise 10 times fast, and it can't be slow. And we'll give you a cookie.
What kind of cookie?
Hey, it's just a cookie. All right, anyway, here's 7 circle sunrise, dead love
Stale
letters.
cookie, fresh cookie.
She called me up but didn't have the guts to come right out and say what she had done. She tried to hide it, could not deny it, but I'm not angry. Just take all of these dead love letters. I feel better, I'm alright by myself. I feel just fine since I put my heart up on my shelf. Now and then when she's drunk enough, she'll call me up and say she needs to talk. She'll say she's sorry, I'll say don't worry, 'cause I'm not angry. I threw away those dead love letters. I feel better, I'm alright by myself. I feel just fine since I put my heart up on my shelf. She's a gun, loaded up and pointed at me. She's a gun, she's someplace and I don't wanna be. Alright by myself. Dead love letters. I feel better, I'm alright by myself. I feel just fine since I put my heart up on the shelf. Dead love letters. I feel better, I'm alright by myself.
Hi, this is Logan Arsenault, and you're listening to 2 Loco Radio. We matter 'cause you matter.
All right, I guess we do matter then. All right, go ahead. Miss Meridium says she wants to be goofy for a second.
What? Just me? I can't do it without your help, Ray Ray.
All right, but we can't have dead air either.
Well, you bring the goofiness out of me. Can't help myself. And DJ Sickness here says, if only people could hear what we're like while the music is playing. Golden.
Golden. I have to agree.
All right, but this is a fleeting farewell, the song you're about to hear.
A bleeding farewell?
A fleeting farewell.
First and foremost, I just wanna say, fuck you. Those chains have bound me to you. In your case, what is always still good, but what the fuck have you done for me? Aside from all the legend,
Oh, all right. We're back. Sorry about that, DJ Sickness. Didn't mean to put you on the
No,
spot.
that's okay.
All right, but I'm going to freak you out. This is a girl. Her name's Ashley Bean. This song's called You Know. And DJ Sickness, you're going to know why I'm going to freak you out in a minute.
Forgotten dreams, is this what it might be? But I can't stop this. It's something you can't control, but you know that I'll never be alone. And I need this. Can't forget the listening of the sound, and it's all said and done when you can't see in front of you. And I can't forget. It's not something you can risk. And this is not something you want to miss. Tangled into darkness, trying to find the light. Can't find your way. Don't know which way is right, but have you ever taken for each step of your life? Have you ever seen what's on the other side? I need this. Can't forget the listening of the sound. It's all said and done when you can't see in front of you. I can't forget. It's not something you can risk. And this is not something you want to miss. If you hold on, this life won't be gone. If you believe, nothing will go wrong. And if you hold on, this life won't be gone. If you believe, nothing will go wrong. I need this. Can't forget the listening of the sound. It's all said and done when you can't see in front of you. I can't forget. It's not something you can risk. And this is not something you want to miss.
All right, that was Ashley Bean. You know. Did that, like, creep you out or what?
That was, yeah, that was amazing.
Very distinct, yes.
Well, you know, when we did the interview, I said, hey, why don't you market yourself as, you know, the female version of Nirvana. I mean, there's so many Nirvana fans out there. You know?
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely. I mean, that does have a Kurt Cobain feeling.
And it sure does a feeling that I have to say, Ashley Bean, what was I going to say? Doggone it. Trying to compliment her and then left my mind. I'm like, dang it.
All right.
That's some good weed.
I can't. Wait, did I say that out loud? Or did I say that out loud?
Oh, all right. This is Sid Stop Heart Frankenstein. We got the Local X interview in less than 10 minutes.
There's a skeleton key, lies on the stairs. I should have been a little prepared. Picked up the key, opened the door. Don't have a clue what I am in for. There's a boy on the counter, cut up in pieces, still making sounds. He's barely breathing. I'm not a doctor, I can't make him better. All I could do is try to put him together. He's made of staples and broken bones, bruises from tattoos, stories untold. If I had a wish, it'd be make him whole. He's barely alive. I'm gonna call him mine. I'm gonna call him my Frankenstein. Shut up and bleeding from inside. I'm gonna call him mine. The skeleton key still in my pocket. A small part of me wants to close the door and lock it. Wherever we go, we scream at the monster. Wherever we go, the gunshots are fire. He's made of staples and broken bones, bruises from tattoos, stories untold. If I had a wish, it'd be make him whole. He's barely alive, so he says so. Right into the ground. Bring him down. I'm gonna call him mine. I'm gonna call him my Frankenstein. Shut up and bleeding from inside. I'm gonna call him mine. I will charge and fall. Bring him. He's made of staples and broken bones, bruises from chapters, stories untold. If I had a wish, it'd be make him whole. He's barely alive, so is his soul. Oh, he's made of staples and broken bones, bruises from chapters, stories untold. If I had a wish, it'd be make him whole. He's barely alive, so is his soul. I'm gonna call him mine. I'm gonna call him my Frankenstein. Shut up and bleed from inside. I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna call him mine. I'm gonna call him my Frankenstein. Shut up and bleeding from inside. I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna call him.
If any.
All right, we're back. And we are joined by, is it Mike?
It is Mike Russell, yes. it
Mike
is.
Russell from Divided We Stand. How are you today?
I'm fabulous.
We understand that you've had a birthday.
Yeah, it was in September. It was great.
Would you like me to sing to you?
Absolutely.
Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
I like
The
that.
other
It's like a
version?
jingle.
Yeah,
I like how you took that and made it your own.
kind of like as a family thing.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right. So, what is going on,
I can
Mike?
sing it like Marilyn Monroe too. Happy birthday to you.
I hope my wife's not listening.
All right, Mike. So what's going on with you? What's going on with Divided We Stand right now?
Well, we're about to start hitting the road again. We've been touring a lot. We did a national tour a couple of months ago, and it was awesome. We recently played with Papa Roach at the International, and that was a pretty awesome show. And
Yeah, it was. I was actually a part of that.
heck yeah.
And
And
you
we're
did
going
phenomenal,
to.
as always.
Yeah, I was playing Angry that night. It was awesome. Like I try to always do that. Like,
Play angry?
yeah, an angry drummer is just always way more impressive than a.
So you can get your aggression out on those drums, huh?
Yeah, if I don't break at least like 4 sticks, then I'm kind of disappointed with myself.
You ought to like really like bang them and then like put a stick in your mouth too and like break it with your teeth on during the show.
Stay tuned.
Challenge accepted.
Hey, Jesse, do you remember I used to wear a helmet?
I do, actually.
Our next show, I'm breaking the helmet back out. Someone brought it up, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to do that.
Are you still styling the mohawk?
I am. I was recently told that it was the most bitchin' mohawk in Knoxville. I don't know about all that, but
it's very distinctive.
yeah. And our merch girl Brenda, she usually styles it for me, and she keeps it fresh. I can't take credit for how tasty it is.
So there's like no confusion on who you are when you're,
Yeah. And plus, like, I'm usually the drunk one telling, like, extremely dirty jokes. It's really hard to forget that you met me.
So now, you're going to be back in Knoxville in August, correct?
Yep.
And you're working on some new material as well.
Oh, yeah. We always try to, like, have something new for people. It's, if you keep playing the same old material and never have at least one, do something for people, then they quit showing up.
that makes a lot of sense.
Always got to have something new to promote.
Definitely.
Awesome.
So, do you want to talk a little bit about the material itself, or is that like a hush-hush thing?
No, we've got a new song, and there's a lot of debate over what the name is. We were in the band room, and Joe thought of the name Eye of the Lamp, and I was like, well, that's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. It's like an enigma wrapped in like an enigma. So we got to think of something else. And I thought of I Love Lamp because I like the Anchorman, and at least it's funny. It doesn't make sense either, but
yeah, but it actually makes a little more sense than the Eye of the Lamp.
Yeah, people will at least get the reference, and it's goofy. You don't always have to be, why so serious?
Exactly, and that's what I love about music. You really don't have to be, completely serious all the time.
Yeah, you can have your song where you cut up with people, and the people that know you closely, and even if you're going from town to town, your next time through, people are going to remember some of your antics.
Right,
exactly.
very
you can have
memorable.
a funny song,
yes.
a serious song that means a lot to you, and then you just have your face stomper songs. Which I like.
Remember, I was working for a venue locally, and you guys actually played a show on my birthday, and
I remember that.
up on stage. You remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, another birthday. Gotta sing.
That was a night to remember. Definitely.
We've had some good times with you guys over the years.
Yeah, it's been a good long road, man. But I wouldn't change a bit of it. You guys always rock. You bring the the home crowd, and just do phenomenal every time I see you. And me personally, I've seen you probably over a dozen times.
Well, you know, like we went through a spell where we were only playing certain shows, you know, and it made us look cliquey. And I've had a lot of young guys, you know, and there's a lot of up and coming talent in this town that it'll blow your mind. And it's just a matter of time before some of these young guys get it together and start kicking ass.
Oh, definitely.
And,
you know,
I
agree.
support it. And I was telling them, because they were like, you know, man, I can't seem to get a Night Owl show, you know, and I told them that, well, you know, when we started, there weren't any good venues. There was only the Valerium. So we just made it happen by ourselves, you know?
Yeah, exactly. You know,
we put on a show to flea market.
Well, I mean, you got to start, you know, I mean, it goes from the garage to birthday parties or friends and family, and, you know, it takes off from there. And to give Chris Castillo his props, Night Owl Music has done phenomenal, you know, around Knoxville. I'd have to admit that he opened up a lot of doors that were previously closed to the local metal scene, you know, but, you know, it's you guys, you know, it's the bands that take the time and the effort to play that 5-person show, or, you know, 500-person show, you know, or 1,000. You know, you know, you just, sometimes you've got to do it. You know, I mean, if you're really committed to the playing, you know, you got to play to one person or a million. You know.
Yeah. And I like Maryville Rock Academy. They're starting to host shows again, and I think that's good because I live in Maryville, so I hate the fact that all you can see is cover bands and like Garth Brooks stuff, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, props. I know some guys that are in cover bands that are really good. I'm not always in the mood for that. Sometimes I want to have my mind expanded and hear new things. And
yeah, as
offer
far
that.
as me, I think I've only heard you guys do one cover, and I believe that was Sanitarium. Is that correct?
Yeah. We've
Right.
done a couple over the years. We did the final countdown for a special event for Chris Castillo.
Oh, cool.
But usually, like, that was special order. We played that one time and one time only.
Oh, all right.
What I was saying, though, do what?
I just got to announce this real quick. Oz said he will be on in a few. Oz will be here in a few. Continue.
Awesome.
You know, Oz has done great for the local community as well. You know, I have to give him props on that. He did the local X when, you know, 94.3 and then 95.7, the X was on, you know, so he was, you know, he's rooted in the local scene too, you know, so I got to give him, you know, his props on that.
Definitely. He's the man.
Exactly. I couldn't have said it better.
He's we're gonna play we wrote a song like 5 years ago, and he was at our band room, and he was like, yeah, that reminds me of Alice in Chains. That's my best Oz Kirk voice.
That was a fucking perfect Oz impersonation, by the way.
He's like, yeah, you gotta do that, man. It sounds like Alice in Chains. Love it. It's called Courtney Lovely, and we're gonna do that at our next show in honor of the big guy.
That's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. All right. So you said that you have some, you know, you're working on new material and everything. So where do you like playing at? Y'all, you know, tour all over. Where do you like playing at?
So as far as around the country goes?
Correct.
Well, Wyoming is one boring-ass state, but we were in Casper, and then all of a sudden it goes from being oblivion to this big, awesome city known as Casper, Wyoming, and that town was amazing. I mean, they don't have anything better to do, so it's pretty cool. They just show up to shows. And Muskegon, Michigan.
Ooh, what's that like?
Just people just randomly, you don't even have to promote. That's what the promoter was telling me. He's like, when we were loading in, I was kind of skeptical. You know, I was like, this town doesn't look that big. And he was like, watch, dude, I don't even have to promote. And there's going to be like at least 300 people here. And there was. It was awesome.
Cool.
I like being exposed to a lot of new faces. It gives me a rush.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Okay, now locally, previously I've worked with all the venues in Knoxville. And what is your personal preference as far as sound?
For a small place, open chord is awesome. I mean, I like, we played at the Valerium, we played at the International and the Concourse, and I really love those places. But as far as like stage volume, and maybe that's just me, maybe I like the smaller places sometimes because it's way more in your face.
Richie is doing the sound at the open chord. Is that correct? Is he still doing that?
And he's doing an amazing job too.
Yeah, I've not personally had a chance to experience it, but Richie also did the Bowery, and I know from that, he's a great sound man, and he's also part of DeCambrio, and which is a great band as well, but so I will definitely have to check out the open chord. I've kind of been putting it off, but I've heard nothing but good things about it.
And the Concourse obviously is awesome, and Richie also works there, and Brandon Cagle. Pookie has been around forever. That guy is never going to go away, and he's always awesome. And Chris Castile, he's got a very good team together too. Like, he's done a really good job of like getting the right people in place to make it work. And he's in a funny predicament now because there's so much talent, and you can only do so many shows.
I have a question for you.
I worked with Chris, previously, and like I said, I really have nothing bad to say about the man. I mean, he's done a phenomenal job bringing the local scene back, or at least exposing it. It really never left, but I mean, to get the exposure out there, hands down, the man is number one.
Yeah, he's done a great job of keeping Knoxville alive and bringing good shows here.
Good question. Like, throughout time, it just sounds like a thrill, like a rush to do what you do. What has stood out to you more than anything in all your time performing, playing, doing what you do?
Performing.
What has stood out more than just above all else in memory?
Probably in Johnson City at Capone's, we got to play with All That Remains, and they're my all-time like favorite band. And it was I was trying my best not to act like a fanboy. The place was sold out.
Yeah.
And it was just incredible. And those people didn't even know who we were, and they're still just standing there like, whatever. Like people were already drunk before the first note was played that night, and it was awesome.
Now, you opened up for them, is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it was them and Pop Evil.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I actually remember that show. And that was, it was Capone's in Johnson City.
Yeah, which also is another great venue, and their sound guy his name's Alan Prince.
Was it everything you'd hope it would be?
Oh, it exceeded my expectations. It's kind of hard to go to work that next Monday morning when you're like, 2 days ago I was a rock star, and now
you're like,
back at work, and my boss is yelling at me.
So, this is funny because we kind of got like a mini interview going on here with you, Mike.
I'm an attention whore.
That you are, my friend. But no, I do have to give a shout out to Mike and Divided We Stand.
I agree.
You know, by the way, how's Joseph?
He's doing pretty good. And that's the thing, you know, when you're traveling a lot, you hate each other from time to time. But that in itself is a bonding experience, because when you're not around each other as much, then you just don't bond as much. And sometimes, like, the best way, you know, me and my brother are very close, and we've cussed each other out more than anybody, you know? So that's just how it's played out. Like, that we've gotten a lot closer with each other over the months.
Yeah, it's definitely a love-hate relationship on the road.
And Joseph, he's maturing so much as an individual, as we are, you know, all of us. But it's pretty cool to watch people grow. I got to give a shout out to Worth also. I don't know if you know those guys, but I'm standing here looking at them.
Oh.
And they're glorious.
Wait.
No, I'm not familiar with them. Thank you
this
for
whole
that.
time?
You might know their singer, Andrew Berger. He's got a real sweet beard.
Hey, man, let's not talk about the beard thing.
I'm jealous.
That's
I look like a
fine.
rat bastard when I try to grow facial hair. It's not going to work.
Hey, he'll say it. Cool.
There was a drunk guy at one of our recent shows, and he kept buying me shots and telling me that I was a Viking. And I just was thinking to myself, like, if you've seen like the shitty beard that I grow, you'd change your mind.
Hey, believe it or not, my genealogy, I actually have Viking in my blood. Yes.
I've got the looks. I just don't have the beard.
Pretty hot, huh?
Yeah, and it sucks because I couldn't be a hipster even if I wanted to be.
I'm a Viking woman.
I could wear
You
skinny
wouldn't want to
jeans,
be a
but I just couldn't
hipster,
sell it.
so, you know?
Well, no, I couldn't. But I mean, even if I wanted to, I couldn't be because I can't grow a beard.
Oh.
So jealous.
All right. I think it's about that time. Should we play a song? We're still waiting on Oz to get here.
I'm here. Play me some.
Oh, wait a
Play me some
second.
Damn Bam.
Wait a second. Did I hear something in the background?
Was that a request?
Yeah, I'd like to put in a request for Damn Bam. A rap song, Flim Flam.
All right.
This guy knows what I'm talking about.
All right.
Yes,
so
hello.
So we're gonna
Feeling outnumbered by
play
men here.
some Damn Bam, but I believe we have our special guest on here. So do you want to hear some Damn Bam by Chrome Molly?
Hell yeah. Hey,
right.
I got Phil Zimney and Randy Cross from Divided We Stand here to say hello.
Hey.
Well, hello.
They're normally louder. My phone's crappy.
All
Sorry.
right. One second here, and we're gonna have some Chrome Molly Damn Bam.
There it is. That just happened.
Yeah, that really just happened.
What just happened?
Yeah.
Wanna hear it? Here it go.
Look how we
right, no disrespect to Chrome Molly, and we'll get back to that song, but we've got the phenomenal Oz from the Local X joined us right now.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, Oz, how's it going?
It's going on.
I love you. I love you.
I love you too, Mike.
Yeah, you said it back.
I've been listening to you be an attention whore.
We're getting that a lot tonight.
That's nothing new to you, is it?
Oh no. I've just been listening. I didn't know if I was actually on or not. I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, you are.
So many interviews with Oz. He's used to me by now.
I guess that would mean that I'm on too.
Oh, is Mitch back there? I hear Mitch.
Yeah, no, I was also very, very confused for quite some time while listening to the phone.
I know, Mitch. Isn't it interesting? We've just been listening. Thank you.
Like, I'm glad I wasn't singing like Purple Rain to myself while I had the phone next to my face.
I do apologize, guys. I do apologize. That was Mike from Divided We Stand. He joined us for a minute.
Nah, you know those local bands, man. They just want to talk and talk and talk.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay. First question, right off the top for me is, Oz, how does it feel to be a new father?
Oh, that's great. It's an awesome experience. I just love it. I've been wanting to be a dad for a long time, so it just kind of actually just come pretty natural. So I really dig it.
It's terrifying for the rest of us.
Little man just turned 1 month, correct?
Oh yeah. He's just now starting to like hold his head up and like make facial expressions and starting to, tell that he knows what's going on. So it's really cool.
So the next question, and that is awesome. I've got 4 children myself, so I know how father. I actually remember when I had my first daughter. It's overwhelming, and it's a completely new. You just change your whole lifestyle eventually.
Oh yeah.
Now, how does the X going off the air affect you family-wise?
Well, I mean, actually, just as far as that's concerned, I mean, it really just opened up a lot of time that I was wondering how I was going to juggle, but I was going to make it happen, So it's kind of like one of those weird kind of things,
Yeah, so you're taking it more as a blessing.
No, not a blessing, because I didn't want it to go away. I thought it was going well and was about to kick off and go to the next level as far as the station as a whole. But at the same time, with having a new baby, sometimes you're like, oh, I don't want to give up this or that, or I want to try to make this work and that work, and so it's a nice way to kind of ease into this transition, and see what happens.
Right. Yeah, because I know being a first-time father, you don't want to miss all those little things,
Oh, exactly.
So juggling work and a child is just it's crazy, man.
Yeah. So it just kind of opened up a little bit of free time, that I didn't know when I was going to come up with it or where, what was going to happen or how I was going to make it swing, and then and all of a sudden now it's like, well, I guess I got that free time, So I'm gonna take advantage of it while he's the little guys, at that young stage, and still just being able to enjoy those little moments. And once he gets older, man, hopefully things will. Who knows what'll happen? You never know what's going to happen in the future.
Exactly.
Has anyone ever told you sound like Bill Clinton?
No. I've never heard him sound like Bill Clinton.
You have now.
That's the first.
Just at the end of I was just saying. Look, I'm absolutely clueless. I'm not familiar, so begin at the beginning of your life story now. Like right now. Yeah.
Well, that
life story.
Life
story. Yeah, I'm unfamiliar here. I need to hear everything. I'm so curious.
I'll tell you
I'm
what
excited.
let's not get on started talking. Let's not get to talking on such a broad topic.
Well, y'all are the reason I didn't call in today.
Listen, Mitch, this lady told me I sound like a politician. I think I've got somewhere to go here.
Go ahead.
So, Mitch, how are you doing?
Mitch, are you there? They asked you a question.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. What was the question? I apologize.
How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome.
I'm
going to be doing a lot better when I pull into the driveway and open a beer, but...
all right. Let me ask you some real questions real quick, if y'all don't mind. You know, we play a lot of artists, and you know, the artist all the time asks, always wondered if they were to get on the radio, who makes the decisions about what to play?
Well, it depends on who. As far as the local acts, Oz made that decision. As far as mainstream artists and stuff like that, that goes through the record labels and the program director.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much what Mitch said. Yeah, it's really kind of it's kind of, being a program director. I've never been one, but I've been around enough of them. It's kind of like I know somebody described to me one time pretty honestly and said, every Tuesday you add 2 records. You get to add 2 records every week. And so that means every week you're getting invited to 6 or 7 of the best parties in town, and you want to go to all of those parties because they're all awesome, but you can only make 2. And you have to make that decision every week, week after week. What are the best 2 parties you're going to go to? And that's what it's like to be in a program director seat. And so that's who end up making the decisions. They sometimes just make decisions.
The part of that that's not included is that there's also a lot of really, really terrible parties as well. But
right.
You got to go to those at least to check them out, and that sucks.
Well, I mean, there's.
Go ahead. I'm
I'm sorry. Mitch is a lion. He knows what he's talking about.
Come here, Jimmy.
Wow, I just miss hearing you guys on air. I really do. I mean, this is kind of nostalgic for me. I know that kind of sounds cheesy, but it's true. I personally give both of you respect because I know how hard it is, and you've done this for so long and on such a good station. I want to give you my thanks, man. Like pretty much 50% of my day was listening to you guys.
I'm sorry.
Well, no, it's a good thing.
I will not answer that way. I'll say, well, thanks a lot, man. I mean, it's that's really that's what's made this whole thing kind of in a backwards kind of way so rewarding, and the fact that we hear people like you that listened all the time, and we really realized that we were we weren't just somebody on the radio. We were actually companions. We were someone who kept you entertained, or at least we tried to keep you entertained during the day, whenever you're doing whatever it was that you did. Like, we were the background that kept you going. All right, this sucks, but I can get through this. This sucks. And then when you're going somewhere cool, you're like, I'm going somewhere cool, and this is I might I might have a good time or something. So I mean, it's been rewarding, and all the outcry and all the people showing love to the station as a whole, and all the people that were involved with it's awesome. So I appreciate it, man. I'm sorry that we had to go away. It wasn't our call.
All right. I have one
serious question.
Yeah.
Yeah. As radio personalities, did you know from the beginning that you'd be an influence in people's lives, or did that develop? Was it like a wow, like later on, or?
I mean, for me, I think you go into it with that aspiration. I mean, my journey and Oz's journey were very different. I got lucky, and I basically got the job by being good at partying. And so, but I mean, I always wanted to be that guy on the radio because of how they influenced me as a kid. You know, I would sit in my room and make my own radio show on a little boom box just for myself. Nobody else ever heard it, but you know, it was the vibe that I got from the people that I listened to on the radio. I wanted to do that. I wanted to make other people feel that way. Now, when you get in there, it's kind of surreal because you're just talking into a microphone, and you don't, like, it's not like...
Oh, yeah, I know.
There's days, especially when you're working on the weekends, where you're like, I can say whatever I want because nobody is listening right now. By the way, this is a good time to ask, can we cuss on internet radio?
Sure.
Yes, we are uncensored, so...
Oh, fucking A.
Yeah.
Let it out, man. Right?
Okay,
so yeah, I mean, you certainly want to, to me, you know, you go in and it's, you're like, well, I think I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, but I don't know. And it's not until you get outside in the community somewhere and somebody's like, dude, are you Mitch? And I'm like, how do you know that? That's creepy and
like,
weird.
Maybe.
and then you find out that they recognize your voice, or that they saw a picture of you, or saw you at an event or something like that. And it's like, shit, people actually do pay attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, for me...
Actually,
Did that change
Mitch,
how you were on air later on? I mean, or were you just, I mean, just like a continuously the same? Or I'm just asking, like, you know, go ahead.
Well,
I don't know how to
different.
form a question right now.
Well, I'm different than Mitch in that respect, and like, I mean, he said, he pretty much got the job from partying. I kind of started out, you know, going to college, asking myself, you know, what I want to do, you know, and I think at that point, you know, you see the Howard Stern movie and you think, oh my God, you know, naked chicks, you know, booze, parties, you know, you think, oh my God, I want to be a radio guy. So, you know, I didn't go in expecting to influence anybody or anything like that. As I got into it, you know, and you start honing your craft, or as I did, you know, I started realizing, you know, they ask you there's many characters you could be on the radio. Who do you want to be? What kind of persona? And I always just kind of wanted to be the guy that made you feel like, you know, I was actually friends with the bands that I actually play. You know, I wanted it to seem like, you know, if I had to, or if I wanted to, just for the heck of it, if I could pull my phone out and call Dave Grohl up and be like, hey, what's going on? And I was like, you know, and I wanted to kind of let the music get a little bit closer to you as just being a DJ. And, you know, with the local bands, that really was the case. I really would go out to shows and become friends with the bands, and I really was close to the bands that I played, which was the rewarding part of doing the Local X, was that I, you know, got to help those bands, and we were very much in the same seat here. I was a radio DJ wanting to do radio full time, you know, Monday through Friday, be a full-time radio DJ. And here these bands are that, you know, they're wanting to be on the road and be these road dogs and go from town to town and be, you know, on the radio all the time, you know, throughout the week. So I felt like we were kindred spirits in that respect, and that, you know, we all had to, like, you know, wake up Monday through Friday and go to day jobs. But on the weekends, we got to be, you know, we got to have a lot of fun and be, you know, rock stars and radio gods and whatever you want to call it, you know. But, you know, you can have a lot of fun. But as far as like, did it change once people knew who I was, once they got to know me? You know, it's kind of like when Mike was talking earlier. He goes, you know, he's talking about that Capone show where, like, one day, you know, he's rubbing elbows and hanging out, getting drunk with all the remains, and come Monday, you know, he's back at work getting yelled at by the boss. I mean, you know, I totally understand that. You know, 1 minute you're backstage on a tour bus with these rock stars, and the next day it's like, here you are, you know, back to your regular life. And it's like,
yeah,
you know, and
you feel like hot shit until you tell somebody, and they're like, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, and I work with all, like, redneck guys that unless it's Kenny Chesney, they don't
You're, like,
care.
sitting at a table with like sharpened pencils and
Okay, now,
Yeah.
Oz, this one's for you. You know, you doing the local thing. You know, I know that is a love-hate relationship, you know, like, because I know there's so much talent out there, and you only have a certain amount of time to play that music, you know, so you might have to cut one or not be able to get to somebody at that time. And I know from experience that, you know, it's rough. You know, you can only pack so much awesomeness into, you know, a couple hours. And I know that was really hard for you. You know, I kind of remember, you know, a couple of bands or the fans of the bands kind of getting upset about that. You know, do you have anything to say about that?
You know, I mean, towards the end there, it was, you know, I've been doing this for so long that I just kind of knew how to go about handling certain situations, and I knew how to handle things. I mean, in the beginning when I first started doing it, you know, you've only got so much time and you've only got so many bands, but in the end, you know, you are on a you know, broadcast signal. You know, you're you know, it's the radio station. It's their toy. You're just getting to play with it until they take it away, which is kind of where we're at, you know, right now. You know, it's really their toy. We just have the luxury of getting to play with it, you know, when they give us the opportunity. So, you know, for many years in the beginning, all I wanted to do was try to make sure that it sounded in a way that somebody who was in charge and was listening would, you know, be accepting of that and give me the lead, you know, the freedom and the reign to just go ahead and you know, play whatever. And in the long run and towards the end there, I mean, I never once was told what to play or how to play it or who not to play or whatever. And I mean, it really, a lot of times it came down to time, and some bands didn't get on, and a lot of times it came down to who was working harder, or who had more shows. You know, if there were like a certain group of bands that were all playing like within the next 2 weeks, and I got all of them on, and then all of a sudden the end of the hour came up, at the end of the 2 hours, you know, or, you know, there was some bands that, you know, they teamed up with other bands, and they might have had multiple projects going on, and I think the week or one of those situations where I got called out or whatever, I might have played one particular artist in like 3 different projects. So 3 different bands got played, but there was one member of each band, and, you know, in it, but it was all relevant and all attainable to the weeks coming up with shows. So it was all in, you know, pushing forward with like helping the scene as far as like making people aware of what was going on. And also you wanted to make sure that you had enough, you know, you wanted to make sure that you played enough high quality stuff and stuff that, you know, everybody was going to listen to, so that they were listening to it, they didn't know it was local. That was the goal. That was the end goal. I don't want people to know it's local. I want someone to tune in, know it's their favorite rock station, and just happen to think that it's some new song that they just haven't heard yet because it's new and it's a Sunday night, and they just think it's a new show with a, you know, like a new band. And that was the approach I took. So, you know, and sometimes I was more vocal about telling somebody, hey, you need to step it up, or hey, you know, this or that. And sometimes I just didn't respond, and, you know, silence is a lot louder than actually having to say a lot of vocal things. You know,
I'm glad you said all that. I'm glad you said all that, because that was one of my next questions. You really touched on a lot, like creative freedoms. You mentioned program director. You mentioned like frustrations and challenges. And if I had my dictionary, I'm trying to educate myself. I was a 4.0 student. Now look at me. You know, in the 2nd grade, I had a 12th grade level, and then now I'm 40 with the 12th grade level. So.
Alrighty then.
Seriously, like the frustrations and the joy of like creative freedoms. You know, what influential pull you might have and not have. You know, so.
Yeah, I mean, there was, you know, I know that there have been bands. You know, there was a situation, you know, where, you know, I felt like I got to the point with a lot of the bands, you know, where whether it was the fan driven, you know, like a lot of times bands want to try to get on the regular rotation, and they start these campaigns, and they very much, you know, everybody wants to get to that main stage. Everybody wants to you know, kind of sidestep the local show, you know, and so, you know, and they, you know, there's different ways. Everybody goes about it a different way. And I remember people at the radio station, you know, getting really, really freaked out because, you know, these bands were, you know, getting basically their street teams to, like, you know, flood social media and stuff in an attempt to get radio play, and you know, and it was funny because they flipped out, and it was something really that I was able to go and just say, hey, I went directly straight to the bands and said, hey, look, you're just hurting yourselves. Just stop. And they did, but I don't think that a lot of local shows and a lot of people that do these local shows like I do even have or even that close with bands to where they can even do that. A lot of these local shows in other cities, they won't even play you if you're not like within a 100-mile radius of the signal, I mean, I think with what I did was I played anything that came across the desk that crossed through town. If it was good, it had good sound quality. And, and it was something that, could give somebody an opportunity to bridge out and go to another city. If it was worthy enough to blend into the mix, then it got a shot, and I think that's part of what made my show like stick out above the rest is because it was so like no holds bars when it came to like there was no boundaries, but there was a level of expectation.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
I do have to say this that Omega Down and the Oz family miss you very much. They just told me on social media.
Oh, thanks.
I have like go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. I was just going to say thanks to Oz and Omega Down and the whole family over there. Those guys are great. Great group of guys. And I hope they get a chance to get out there and show the world what they got. So I mean all the bands in town for that matter. Everybody's bringing a lot to the table, and there's a lot of talent in this town.
All right.
It's so instinctive. Here I have like a double-sided, a two-sided coin question here. What happens, like what do you do when you believe in someone's work wholeheartedly and yet can't get them on? And then, like, what if there's a band who you just don't believe in their work at all and then they're really pushing, then what do? You know what I'm saying?
That's politics.
Oh, wow, good question.
Well, on the corporate side of things, like the mainstream side of things, I mean, there's a lot of that. The biggest running joke in music is Nickelback. You gotta, this is gonna be two parts. I want to go back to, what Oz was saying earlier. I had a guy call in one night and he goes, hey man, I was, just wondering, like how do I get a record deal? And I just went, is this guy for real? And when I realized he was, I went, well, you and some of your friends, you get a band together and you learn how to play your instruments in your mother's basement. You do that for about 5 years. Then you go to a club, get booed off stage, have some stuff thrown at you, go back, start all over, waste all of your money on drugs, booze, and travel while you go on a really terrible tour. Maybe at some point somebody will hear you and give you an option, but probably not.
Right.
That's the way the music business works. I mean, you've got to be realistic with your goals. You shouldn't be going, how do I get a record contract? You should be going, how can I make the best possible music that I'm able to make?
Yeah, and a record, you're not going to get signed unless you can do it on your own anyway.
And my,
right.
It's like, I think my favorite bands, there's so many, the ones who it really comes through when they do it for the joy of it, not to get their name out there and be famous, a household name. You know what I'm saying? There's like a difference.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely. It should be about making the music and not making the fame. I mean, the fame should come from that and the money, but nobody, I mean, really, we all pick
that
up
should
the guitar
come later.
Chicks.
But can you not hear the difference? You know what I'm saying? I'm sure you do.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah. In their work, it shows in their work.
I mean, every guy that's ever picked up a guitar picked it up to get laid. But what you do once you start doing that, once you pick it up, what you do with it is completely different. For me, music is my soul. It's my God. That's what I worship. And I hear it. I can hear the soul behind somebody's music, and if it's there, I'm going to push for them. Like, my favorite band in the entire world is Clutch.
Awesome
we
band.
Didn't play Clutch.
We
never played Clutch.
Band, by the way. Clutch is phenomenal.
Yeah. We didn't play Clutch. And, that's just something I had to deal with. We played Nickelback and Saliva, but no Clutch. Whatever, man. I'm not the one that makes the decision. I get to do what I love doing. I get to talk, I get to entertain, and I get to play music, some of which I like, some of which I don't, but it's just like any other job. And as far as what do you do when you love a band that's not getting a push, you love that band, and you support that band. You go see that band, you push that band to all your friends, you talk about that band, you buy their merch, and you buy their music. And
yeah, there's still such a thing as word of mouth.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
I mean, if anybody's a fan of mine on Facebook, then you know I have a very eclectic taste in music, and if I'm into something, I'm going to shove it down your throat until you listen to it.
Cool.
If I'm like, I will walk up to somebody and be like, hey, dude, have you heard this band? No, hold on, I got it on Spotify. Let me pull it up. And I'll make them listen
I've got it on my phone right now. Hold on.
Yeah, hold on. I got it coming. I mean, that's all you can do. I mean, you can't, I mean, you can take it to the program director and be like, hey, give this a listen. And he's going to listen to it and go, eh. And that's
He's
it.
going to go,
and
I know, make hits. I play hits.
Now, Mitch, now I know you have a lot of side projects going on, or you did, previously. I've not got to talk to you in a while, but are you still doing the lamp thing?
Yeah, I'm still doing lamps.
Okay,
that actually,
and you were doing like a video thing too, right?
Yeah.
Now was that for the X, or was that just a pet project you were doing on your own?
No, that's with the, I was working on one, and it got pushed to the back because Jay Harris at the International approached me about doing a web series for the International. He's like, I want to do a web series to announce the upcoming shows in an entertaining way, because nobody likes reading lists anymore unless they're on BuzzFeed, and we can't make this list of bands that entertaining. So we decided we wanted to do a web series, and he's like, I said, what do you want? He goes, I don't know, I just made you creative director. And I was like, oh, man. So basically it's turned into a sketch comedy show where I'm just writing the dumbest shit I can possibly think of, and
okay, so that's
somehow
still
it's making its way to the web. Like, I'll put it to you this way. We just filmed, Tuesday night, we filmed a bit to celebrate the 6th anniversary, the first year anniversary of the, good God, I'm a professional communicator. The first year anniversary of the International.
Yes.
So the first it's on June 6th, and it's also National Yo-Yo Day and Uncle Cracker's birthday. So the entire bit is me, my co-host, Danny Rindo, another cast member, Paul. Correct? Yeah, and two professional yo-yoers standing in front of the International, eating crackers and yo-yoing while singing Uncle Cracker.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. So now, on to your like little side project, the lamps. I kind of cut you off, which I apologize for, but you were about
no worries.
That.
It's not that exciting. I got dumped, and it was a pretty rough breakup. I'm kind of a pussy when it comes to shit like that.
I can concur. I've been to a few of them with him.
Yeah, no, I'm an asshole on the exterior, but deep inside, I'm soft like a baby's bottom.
Yeah, he's very,
I
very
shouldn't use
emotional.
inside and a baby's bottom in the same sentence.
No, you shouldn't.
I mean,
So you're sweet and sour.
Yeah, something like that. As MC Hammer would say, smooth.
Like one of those, like a gordita or those, crunchy on the outside, soft tortilla on the inside.
Okay, I'll take that. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Like Easy E without A.
So, what?
Man, wow, y'all just need to stop.
and it's sad because I believe I'm the only person drinking tonight.
No, are you kidding me?
You would be wrong.
I forgot I had it going. Yeah. So
the minute he pulled in the driveway and you heard him first belch, that was like the first sip of the beer opening.
All right. We do have a couple other people on here. I just wanted to. Do you want to pay your respects, or do you want to say something to the local X? Or maybe not. Maybe I look like a
maybe
fool.
Not.
Welcome.
Hello.
I'm already paid my respect.
Hello.
Hey, this is Glenda from Tri-City Local Music.
Hey.
Hey.
How are you?
Good. I'm doing really good. Got back to work. Surgery went fine. Thanks for asking.
Awesome.
I just want to say, I'm really disappointed to see another, good station, change on us. But we wish you guys luck, and no matter what you do, and just thanks for believing in bands and supporting local music, and getting their names out there. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. You're welcome. Hopefully we'll get another chance down the line somewhere. Who knows? You never know. It's crazy game.
Yeah, I don't intend on stopping either of those things. I just may not be doing it on the radio.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, it's, you never know.
All right, we do have somebody else, unless this is another of the hosts from the X. No? Okay.
Hello?
Oh.
All right. So,
I do have a question. Go
hold
ahead.
on. Hold on 1 second. I got a question.
I'm curious as can be, but go ahead.
All right. What was the feeling like? I'd hate to bring this up and everything, but what was the feeling like? Y'all were originally 94. 3 and then 95.7. Well, what was the feeling like? I know I worked for a job, and on my birthday they threw a party and then said, "All right, by the way, the company's closing down." So,
well, let me start with saying that, I mean, I guess you're kind of asking how did it feel to go from 94.3 to 95.7, and that was actually a great thing for us, because at the time, like a lot of people don't know, but it was very public. It was very much told, like we had rented that frequency for so many years, and it had become a staple as the rock station, that frequency. But the license had ran out, and just so happened the company, South Central Media at the time, they actually happened to own 95.7 as a frequency. So it was a business decision to stop renting 94.3's frequency and take the intellectual property that was the X and put it on 95.7, which really was them saying, like, hey, we believe in this brand, we believe in this, we think that you guys have a future and we don't want to lose you guys. So they moved us. So for us on the inside, that was just kind of a thumbs up, a hey, good job, like we believe in you enough to, like, take this, which really was a risky thing, or it was something that was going to take time to move over from 94.3 to 95.7, but so it was really that was just a confidence, reassure, and then after that, things transpired and the company became for sale, and then it's under a new company now, and so the new company has made the ultimate decision down the line, and yet again, it was just like before, it was purely a business decision, and that's kind of where we find ourselves. So the actual moving frequencies was actually kind of a nice, kudos to us, because we obviously did it well enough for them to have faith to keep it going.
So basically what happened was a new company comes in and they don't know you, and then they want who they want.
Well, they're looking at it from Green Bay, Wisconsin. Midwest Communications is based out of Green Bay, Wisconsin. They're looking at the numbers, and they have to make decisions based on their interests as a company, and we've never been the moneymaker. 95.7 was never the station raking in the cash. We were there, and we, for the most part, broke even. We were just the placeholder, I guess. And Midwest had bigger dreams. They felt, no. Sorry.
That's Mitch yelling at his dog, who he loves greatly.
So anyway, it was a business decision again, and everybody comes up and like, man, I'm so sorry. And the thing that I've told everybody is the nature of the business. When Oz and I both started in radio, neither of us had the idea that we would be in the same spot doing the same thing forever. the famous phrase goes in the business: you're not in radio until you've been fired from radio.
Yes, this is true. This is true.
So, I mean,
yeah, in fact,
you know,
yeah, I mean, go ahead, Mitch.
It's one of those things. I mean, you know, you think you're prepared for it, you think you've got the mentality for it, but you know, it's just another thing that happens. I'm sure when we got the calls, my day was again very different from Oz's. But I'd say at that moment when we got the calls, you know, my day took a much worse turn down the road. But that was the first hit of the day, and it's regardless of how much I thought I was prepared, like, it's going to happen. I thought I would get fired for doing something stupid, you know?
like Boner?
I really did.
Like Boner did?
Like, I don't know.
Feelings
Yeah.
aside, like the whole time or even part of the time, did y'all have dreams in your hearts that you would be doing if you weren't in radio or did not have those particular positions that you would do? And do you plan to go forward with those?
Well, I'm an entertainer. That's what I do. That's what I'm good at. I talk. I'm good at it. And so, I mean, whatever I do, I'm going to be talking, and I'm going to be creative with whatever I do. If I'm not, then it feels like my brain is rotting out. And I've had a full-time job the entire time that I've been on the air.
Right.
And it's one of those things where radio made my full-time job worth the misery.
Right,
but,
right.
You know, at the same time, you know, I'm in a position now at my job where I've got a lot of opportunities. Not to mention the opportunities that came from the people that I met through working at the X. You know, the program directors, the people that I work with and for, not to mention the people I met. The opportunities and the connections that were made, I mean, I can go... The possibilities are endless, and I don't, like I said, I don't intend on quitting doing what I love doing.
Sure.
I may not be able to entertain on radio for a while because it's a very competitive field, but I'll entertain somewhere. God damn it.
Well, now, did I just hear somebody mention Boner?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what's up with that?
I don't know what's up with that. That was
I don't even.
a long time.
I was still working my way into the party scene when Boner was around. I was still drinking my way to the top.
You know, I've worked the venues, all of the Knoxville venues, mostly. You know, I can't say really all, but you know, Boner and Fat Ass. You know, which I think Oz Fat Ass was doing the Southeast Exports. Do you remember that? That was actually the local thing back then. You know, so that shows you how old I am right there. But
right.
You know,
I listened to Southeast Exports when I was delivering pizzas.
Yeah, you know, so like this is you know, just embedded in me, man. You know, I mean, like the X has been a part of my life, you know, and for you guys to I guess fill in for you know, like, of course there's always going to be somebody new eventually, you know. You know, you guys have just done an excellent job. And my question is basically, like, when you first started, did you have like a lot of doubts or insecurities about being on the radio? Because I know, like, when I started, there's the thought of, you know, how am I going to sound? And you have this concept in your head of how it's going to be. Like you touched on earlier, you know, a bunch of naked chicks in the studio and blah, blah, blah. You know, and you get there and it's a bare-ass desk with a computer and a mic, and you're alone, you know. I mean, so what were your expectations and, like, your fears and doubts, and how did you overcome those?
Good question.
Well, first of all, like, I don't know what happened with Boner as far as here, but the thing about it is actually Boner was actually the guy that got me into radio, because he came to Chattanooga, and he was actually my first boss in radio. So as far as expectations and and what I had to think of, I really wasn't scared of being on the radio. I wasn't scared of being me. I'd listened to Boner growing up around here, and he was one of the very people that I wanted to emulate and that I wanted to be like. And I remember when he hired me, calling my friends and being like, "Holy crap! I just got hired on Rock 105, which is the station in Chattanooga that's still there, and he's still there." And I remember calling my friends and going, "Dude, you're not going to believe this. I'm working in radio, and my boss is Boner, and like all my friends, we all listen." So, I kind of got taught by the very guy who, got me excited about doing radio as far as the local is concerned. Of course, I mentioned Howard Stern. You watch Private Parts when you're younger, and you're wondering, what do you want to do? What do you want to get into? Mancow, was on at the time, and, as the main show. And, I listened to him and thought he was pretty cool because as far as I was concerned, he was the equivalent of what I got to hear that was Stern, that was kind of like, and they kind of seemed to go head to head and, tried to outdo each other. They did stuff. So I kind of looked up to of course, Stern, who I think a lot of, or if not all radio people look up to him in some way, form or fashion, whether they admit it vocally or outspoken.
Stern paves the way for a lot of what we do.
Yeah, and so I mean, you've got, I was listening to Mancow, I really like Mancow, but as far as locally is concerned, Boner was like my favorite to listen to around here. And then like when I was in Chattanooga doing college radio, and he moved down to become the program director of Rock 105, and later hired me and hung out with him, the expectations were like, this is great, I'm just going to have fun. And, and from there, the ride just kind of took off, I think the scariest thing was going to a show and like the first time being backstage and being like, should I be back here, but like I'm hanging with Boner and he's like giving me nods like, come on, let's go back here,
Yeah, you get your all access pass for the first time and you really don't know how to use it.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're just kind of, it was a cool experience. And as far as, just the craziness that pursued, I mean, it kind of became for me, it was a big party in the beginning, and it really, which is kind of ironic because Mitch said that's how he got involved, was he really was like just really excellent at partying, and it's like, we kind of came into it the same way. I was younger and was in college, so I mean, like everything was a party, and so, I just happened to be on the radio and get into party and go to rock shows and hang out with rock stars and, just party. So it became fun until it became, a real job. And you really woke up the next day and had to do like, the office stuff and the office end, and then radio became tougher and smaller and leaner. And, pretty soon it's, it is where it is, it's a well-oiled machine. And like, you got to be willing to do what's, necessary to stay relevant, or, you need to move on. Nobody stays in one place forever. I mean, the people that are there forever are pretty lucky to have been able to stay where they've stayed for as long as they've stayed, so certain people get to do it, and it's a very, very small percentage. Not to say that, myself or Mitch couldn't be full-time somewhere else doing this. It's, it's just a matter of wanting to move and do it.
Now, how was the X as a family? Like, there was just Shane, there was Jay, Boner, which that was one of my influences as well. I mean, like Trixie, I mean, there was just so many really good DJs. You guys just had everything. Like, how was that was it a tight-knit family, or was it like every other American family? Did you have fights or, arguments? How exactly did that go?
I hated Jay.
He's in New York right now, by the way.
Yeah, no, I know. I still keep in touch with him. I mean, we work together, and I mean, we were a tight knit family, and we still are. Like Trixie's the one that I attribute my entrance into the world of radio to. At the time when I met her, when she first moved to Knoxville, I was going to all the events. I was just straight up P1. which for those listening that don't know what a P1 is, primary listener.
Yeah,
I was the one that was at all the events. I was stopping by all the remotes. You know, I was wearing my X
So you were at
I was
Family
just hanging
Bowl
out.
every weekend, right?
Yeah, no, every
Yeah.
Monday night. And that's where I met Trixie when she came to town. And I was like, hey, you want to go smoke this joint after bowling? She's like, sure. And we've been best friends ever since.
Yeah,
She's
and,
like
and great
my
woman,
little
by the way.
sister.
You know, just have to
Yeah, no,
throw that out
amazing. And her and her husband and I mean, we're very, very close. I was over at their house last night.
And her dog. And you gotta give her dog props.
Yeah, Ruby is a trip. Lemmy could eat Ruby, but he wouldn't because he's a handsome fucking puppy face. Sorry. Moving on. But, you know, I mean, of course we argued, and Oz pisses me off sometimes. You know, I mean, we have those moments where, you know, you work with somebody long enough, it's just like being friends with somebody long enough. You're going to end up getting pissed off or frustrated about something. Like,
Exactly.
Jay and I would get into it all the time over dumb shit that pertained to the morning show. I mean, we're both trying to do this, and we've both got different ideas, and, you know, Jay's like, all right, we're going to do this bit. You got it written down? No, I don't have it written down. Well, write it down. Well, I don't want to write it down, motherfucker. And he's like, write it down. You know, it's like, why are we arguing about this? And it was, you know, I mean, it's just part of working with people.
Yeah, exactly.
But at the same time, then it was like, let's go get some beers. All right, cool.
And then you argue over what kind of beer to get.
Yeah, well, that's because he didn't drink beer, and I said, hey, pussy, come on, let's have a real man's drink. I say that as I'm drinking Sweetwater Blue.
I will
Hey
say.
guys, what's it? Okay, maybe I'm just being stuck up for letting it hurt my feelings. Sometimes I do, you know, suffer a mood disorder. So sometimes I'm okay with it. Sometimes I don't notice it, and then sometimes I'm like, really? But how have you dealt, like, over the years with people who are, you know, want to be your friend just because you're in radio?
You just identify who they are.
Like decipher between those who are just like trying to get close to you because of that, and who are your real friends, you know? And how did you deal with that?
I have a
How
very
do you
close,
deal with that?
a very, very close knit group of friends that I call the inner circle of awesome. And like
Well, I kinda
those
feel
are the
bad 'cause
people.
I'm not in that inner circle.
Well, maybe one day. But I mean, you can. It's not that difficult to identify them and their motives, at least not to me. And once you identify that, then you know you say, "Hey," slap their hand, and move on, and you know maybe have a conversation or avoid them like the plague. It's you know, like when I go to the International, it can be very overwhelming at times, and I'm sure Oz feels the same way. Especially when I went to the Manson show, and like before the first band went on, I'm like, I'm going to fucking hide, because it was the day after the announcement that the X was gone, and it was just like everybody kept coming up, and and it's just like I had to hide.
Right.
But,
See, now,
yeah,
I missed
That's why I didn't go to the Manson.
I actually
That's why I
missed
didn't
that.
go.
I was in the Bahamas, and you know, I missed the Slipknot show. I missed the Manson show. I missed your last radio show. You know. And that's something,
Yeah,
and
I
I mean,
do
that
too.
really bothered me, believe it or not. I mean, I'm, you know, several hundred miles away, and, you know, as soon as I get back to port and I get Wi-Fi connection, the first thing that I read is 95.7 is gone. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
like, literally, that was the first thing I read on my phone. You know, and I was like, how is 95.7 gone? You know, I mean, you know, there was no... from what I hear now, like I said, this is secondhand. I was in Freeport, going back.
And
to
brag a
Port
little
Mountain.
more. Keep
You know,
bragging.
yeah.
Go ahead.
But you know, I mean,
I was in the
literally,
Bahamas. I was in the Caribbean.
No, I'm not saying that.
Well, the rest of
anyway,
you
I'm just
guys
saying,
are having
you know,
your
I
lives
missed it.
shattered. I was
I
partying.
missed something that was, you know, I missed something that was epic. You know, I mean, to me, I mean, you know, this is a radio station that I grew up with. You know,
Same here.
And most of my radio idols were on, you know, and then all of a sudden it's gone, and I missed it, you know, and there was, you know, I was like asking everybody, I was like, what happened, you know, what's going on? And there was no answers whatsoever.
No.
It was just like, you know, they played a song and then it went to country.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty.
I mean, that's kind of how it goes. But I mean, back to the friend question, as far as how to deal with those fair weather friends that are just there because they know who you are. I mean, that's part of being a pseudo celebrity. You know, I've never considered myself to be a celebrity or to have fans. In fact, I consider it very arrogant for a radio personality to say my fans. I don't consider anybody my fan. I consider them listeners. They're listening to me. If they enjoy it, great. If they like me, awesome. But, you know, if I wasn't there, somebody else would pick up the slack.
Very true.
But, you know, with I mean, that's something you have to expect, though. When your name is out there and you're doing, because I was doing a lot of charity stuff, a lot of public appearances, and stuff
You
like
would
that.
say
So when
whore
you're
it
out,
out.
Yeah, you
I
really
would
were
not.
whoring it out there.
Whoa.
I was, I'm not going to lie, I was whoring it out for charity.
Just
yeah,
so,
like it's still trying to register with me that people can even hear me.
I hear you.
Loud and clear on this end.
So, I mean, with that, you have to take it as it comes. You know who your real friends are, and you hold tight to them, and the rest of them, you know, you talk to, you make sure that they continue to like you, unless they say something. I mean, I'm very outspoken, and if you say something stupid, I will let you know.
Oh, all right, but we're going back to where you were saying the fans, you know, and how you feel if a radio station were to say that that would be stupid and everything.
Not a radio station.
Okay.
Jock. The radio station itself obviously has a lot of fans.
Yeah.
People love the radio station. They are fans of the station. They are wearing the station logo on their T-shirt like a band. They're not wearing my name.
Exactly.
Okay, all
They're
right.
wearing the station. They're there for the station, not for me.
Correct.
They're not there for me. They're there for the music and the atmosphere, not me. If I had been fired at the station, if none of this had happened and the station was rolling on and I was just canned for doing something stupid, as I expected myself to be fired for at some point, then people would be like, oh, man, that sucks. I really liked Mitch. And then they would just, you know, move on to the next guy.
Well,
I mean, those people I would still see. I would still talk to them and stuff like that. But, you know.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, with that being said, you know, how do you feel that y'all have influenced the community? I understand what you're saying, that, you know, nobody could be a fan of you per se, but at the same time, you really are role models to the community.
Well, I mean, I just, you know, obviously, for me, it's just, you know, that the one thing that I loved the most out of everything was just the local acts, just being able to be, you know, part of the, you know, get the bands heard, get bands into, you know, like get the, you know, bands on the radio just so that they could be heard and going to shows, you know. For me, you know, it was just letting people know that the talent was out there and it was worthy of being on the air, and that, you know, you could put it side by side to the band, you know, the music we play on a regular basis. And, you know, if you weren't told it was local, if you weren't told that it was, you know, something different, you wouldn't have known any different. And that was kind of the approach of the local acts. So, I mean, I guess I feel like that was the thing that I liked the most about being on the radio and influence and stuff, was the local bands, supporting the local bands and putting them out there and letting them shine.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was just a love affair with the city. I love Knoxville. I'm from Maryville. I grew up. I moved up here when I was 20-ish. Memory not so good. But, you know, I love the city. What I love about the city is that it caters to local business and to local people. And, you know, I hate chain restaurants. I don't eat at them. And it became the same with me as far as what my influence and what my position in the station could do. It's not, I don't know. I wanted to use my influence, whatever it may have been, to give back to the community. That's why I did so much charity, is because I had the opportunity to. I had the opportunity to be in a bachelor auction, you know, and somehow Aaron Donovan paid $400 for a date with me, and I got crowned Knoxville's most eligible bachelor. But I raised so much money for Friends of Literacy that, you know, it felt justified in stroking my ego. Which really, I mean, let's be honest, I'm just really trying to stay humble because my ego is already so big.
Right. Well, that was like a win-win for you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, I mean, everything, you know, Host with the Most, every time I did it, I was getting money towards animal shelters and stuff like that.
Awesome.
So, I mean, it was win or lose when I did those competitions and when I did stuff like that, it was for charity. You know, I wasn't out there just going, hey, look at me. It's like,
right.
Do this
have you heard of the Joy of Music charity or the organization? We did a interview yesterday with you, you know, talking about the charity aspect, and I was really touched by how many people donate their time and their resources, you know, to a like I until yesterday I didn't even know about this organization, you know, and it makes me feel kind of bad. I mean, you know, like there's so many people that actually donate their time and resources to, you know, the less fortunate, you know, whether it
well,
be
while we're talking about the Joy of Music School, if you don't care, you know, when all this went down, hold on just a second.
Yes.
Shut the fuck up. So
that's love right there.
Yeah.
There you go.
It really is.
Well, he shut the fuck up.
See, bro, you should have got him drunk.
I know. So when all this went down, myself personally, and I got the same sentiment from others like Oz and Toby and you know, Trixie herself, where we didn't feel like we got the opportunity to say goodbye. So we've been putting together this party on June 13th at the concourse. Basically, we're going to have a couple bands come out and play, slideshows, playlist of X music and stuff like that. And
yeah, I've actually kind of been pushing that.
Yeah, and I wanted it to be a free show or a free party. I'm not even going to call it a show. It's going to be a free party.
Exactly.
But then I started thinking about it, and I'm putting a $5 cover at the door. It'll be a $5 cover, and all the proceeds that evening will go to the Joy of Music School.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, dude, that
awesome.
is awesome. I mean, that is, you know, that
it's
is just
that last opportunity for us to give back to the community that gave us something. You know, I mean,
yeah.
And
everybody keeps saying
this
thank
is
you
future.
for this.
This is our future bands. You know, this is our future
Absolutely.
local music. You know, so not only is it a great cause, it's you know, it's going to benefit us in the future.
Absolutely, and you know, everybody keeps telling me, and I'm sure they're doing the same to Oz. Thanks for this, and thanks for the good times, and thanks for that. But what people don't understand is what we got, like what the community gave us. I mean, we had the opportunity to feel like rock stars. You know, I mean, that's huge. You know, the community embraced us. They've supported us through everything, through Jay getting fired, through the loss of Mancow. I mean, the fan base has been so passionate that I couldn't not find a way to give back to the community, and I didn't want it to be a donation bucket because then I would be pissed at the end of the night.
Yeah, definitely.
So I just said $5 at the door, and it's going to Joy of Music.
Awesome.
That is awesome. I will push that definitely. Personally, like I said, I was heartfelt with the interview we did yesterday. I really, truly was. I was one of those less fortunate kids, you know, that had to scrounge and scrape for my first guitar. So I know how it feels to be raised that way, and you know, and like I said, just to see how many people donate their time and effort, or you know, the music equipment, money, monetary, whatever, you know, just it really amazed me that you still have kind-hearted people, you know, And for you to like, I guess that may be why I actually had brought that up. You know, in the cosmic aspect of things, you know, maybe that was a way to kind of get it pushed that all the proceeds are going to the Joy of Music. So, you know, I mean, everything happens for a reason.
All right. I have a question.
I was about to see if you're still here, Ray Ray.
He's just sitting back listening.
All right, that's the sixth time I got cut off. I'm getting tired of this. All right. You know, I got a question for you. I always ask bands every day, you know, that we have interviews. You know, what would you tell somebody that wanted to join a band? So I'm going to flip the question a little bit to you. What advice would you give somebody that wanted to get into radio, and you know, knowing all the bad things, you know, that go along with it, to really encourage them to follow their dreams?
I don't know, Mitch. You got this one?
Oh man, you know, if it's your dream, it's like when I wanted a Jeep. I wanted a Jeep real bad, Jeep Wrangler, and I told several people this, and I heard several responses. You don't want a Jeep. Yeah, motherfucker, I want a Jeep. That's why I just said I want a Jeep.
And not only a Jeep Wrangler.
Yeah, the thing is, if you want it, do it. I mean, as far as radio goes, I mean, you know, there's so many ways that you can do it and so many ways that you can get into it, but you're going to have to work your ass off in order to do it. I probably destroyed my liver on my journey, but, you know, you got to make sacrifices where sacrifices are due. So it's one of those things. I mean, as far as advice goes, you know, you've heard two different versions of how to get into radio. I got into radio because I was around. I inserted myself into the community. They liked me, and I got in. You know, the thing I can say, if you're going to go that route, just be cool. I realize that's more difficult for some than others, but you know,
always be yourself.
Keep your expectations in check. Don't be pushy. Don't be an asshole. If things don't go your way, they're not supposed to. They're not. I shouldn't be in radio. I went to college for this shit. I dropped out of college. So, I mean, you know, there's different ways to do it, but as far as if you want to be in radio, make sure you understand what you're getting into, you know, because I heard the same thing when before I got on the air, I was working in the promotions department. I'm out on a remote with Billy Kidd, and I was like, hey, man, do you want to grab some beers one day so I can just pick your brain about being in radio? He goes, oh, man, you don't want to be in radio. Yeah, motherfucker, I want to be in radio. That's why I just said I want to be in radio. And a couple months later, I was in radio. But, you know, I mean, it's that kind of thing. If you want to do it, you can do it.
Yeah, I think I fielded the question to, hey, Mitch, you got the answer to that? Because my response was actually going to be kind of like Billy Kidd. You don't want to get into radio. Which is funny. You know, it's kind of like, what? Really? You know, you'd say that. But, you know, it's one of those things where it's, you know, I would say realistically, if you want to get into radio, Ray, what you're doing here, podcasting, that kind of thing, that is something that, you know, is kind of the future. That's kind of the more and more people that get put out of radio, they're finding their way into radio through podcasting. They're doing that, you know, that kind of thing. And I mean, you know, radio is going to probably stick around, but it's going to get smaller and smaller. It's already, I mean, we've seen it getting smaller here, you know, someone who, you know, you never know when the torch might get picked up again for like a modern rock station per se, but, you know, but I mean, radio is going to continue to get smaller and smaller, but yet the internet's going to keep getting bigger and bigger. So, I mean, you know, if you can prove and work on your broadcasting skills, sitting in a room by yourself with a computer and all the technology that's there, that's the way to go. You know, you get enough listeners, believe me, a radio station is going to pay attention to you, because if you can sit there by yourself, just like a local band, if they can garnish a million sales on iTunes or more, believe it or not, somebody's going to come knocking, going, dude, what are you guys doing? How are you doing it? I want to talk to you. Same thing goes for anybody listening that's a podcaster, someone in the future. I mean, the future of radio is going to just be whatever the most popular thing is, or the most efficient way to do it. And, there's no way you're going to get into the radio nowadays the way that Mitch and I did. I mean, it's very hard to get in, and it's getting even harder. We got lucky on the tail end of how we kind of got into it. But, you start a podcast and you get several million listeners. Believe me, sooner or later, someone's going to come knocking at your door. You're not going to have to go knocking on theirs.
Okay.
That's kind of the future.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. And I do have to say that Minor 9 is huge supporters of what you all did as well, or what you all do. Let me rephrase that. Everyone wants to know, what was your best part of the job, and what was your worst part of the job?
The best part of the job was probably like the free concerts and just the free music, because I got into it as a music lover, wanting to do music and be around music, and I think when I started going to shows, you become really hooked on it. And then I think there was a certain point where it was like I don't pay to go to shows anymore. That's kind of my thing. So that's probably my favorite thing, was just being able to see music, and that was the perk of the job. That was the ultimate perk of the job, was that the door was always open. You could always just you're always going somewhere and meeting bands and hanging out and just chilling. The worst part of the job was that, just sacrificing
Nickelback.
Sacrificing nights and weekends and holidays and doing everything that you had to do to get there and be a part of it, because you do whatever it takes if you want to do it. It's like Mitch said, if you want to do radio, you're going to do radio, and nobody's going to stop you from doing radio. But that also means that you very well may find yourself working holidays and weekends and things that sacrifice a lot of your own personal time and interest, and listening to everybody else having fun while you're working. But after a while, it just becomes kind of like par for the course. That's what you want to do. That I wanted to be in radio, so now I'm kind of at the point where if I'm not working on a holiday or weekend, I feel weird. And I really feel weird now. In Memorial Day, it was like, whoa, I'm not really working on the air. Like this is my extra money time. This is when I make the most money. This is when I make the most hours. I can go barbecue, I can go to the lake, but forget that. I don't want to do that. I want to be on the radio. The most people are listening to me at this time. That's
man.
You kind of
I've had to
become
start drinking it. I've had to start drinking at 10 a.m. on the weekends instead of 3 p.m. because I just don't know what the hell I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know how to be a normal person on the weekend. It's terrible. Like I wake up, I wander around the house for 5 minutes, and go straight to the mini fridge. My answer to that, again, contrast to Oz's, the sacrifice of time and weekends and holidays, that wasn't an issue for me. I always looked at it like, I'm working 5 hours. What the hell am I complaining about? And I'm doing what I love and doing, and this was my childhood dream. Who the fuck do I know that can say they've accomplished their childhood dream? So the sacrifice of working 7 days a week and not having any holidays off in the past 7 years was not an issue for me. Like, what are you doing Memorial Day? Working. How do you know? Well, because that's what I do. That wasn't an issue for me. I guess the worst part for me, I don't know. I tell you what, let's go with the best part. The best part for me was people and meeting people and the opportunities that I had. Again, I've got so many friends and acquaintances just from that opportunity and being on the radio. By the way, I've been told that I turn into William Shatner when I drink, so be wary of that.
Right.
So meeting people and getting those connections and networking, that was amazing to me. Meeting the bands, that was cool, but it was always to me like, oh, hey, how's it going? Can I get my picture with you? Thanks. Have a good show. And then that was it. There were several bands that were cooler than that, but, the people that I met and the people in the community and the opportunities within the community were the best part for me. And as far as the worst part, I don't know. Probably hearing Oz talk for 45 minutes every Saturday afternoon when we switched shifts, that was pretty rough.
What?
That's why I started leaving early, dude.
Wow.
I know. What are you talking about? You weren't there for the last 2 years when I got there.
All
I don't know
right.
what you're complaining about.
And for those that can't make your farewell show or your farewell for now show, I believe it's at the International. Am I correct?
It's at the concourse.
Oh, I apologize. At the concourse. What would you like to tell them? Coming from you after all these years, what would you how would you like to thank them?
Thank you.
Hey, it works for me.
No, I mean, seriously though, it's really hard for me to say thank you appropriately because it was such a huge part of my life. And it was the accomplishment of a childhood dream. And I did feel like that rock star I always wanted to be on the radio. And I did get to meet people and I was shown that love back. And for me, there's no way that I can show enough thanks to the listeners. I know it sounds fucking cheesy as hell, but it's the God's honest truth. That's what I always wanted to do, and the listeners made it a possibility. And even after it was over, and still to this day, the support was there to validate my feelings, and that was awesome. As far as what I would say, love music. Listen to it wholeheartedly. Open your ears, open your mind. Listen to music. I'm not saying listen to rock. I'm saying listen to music. One of the most frustrating parts about working in a rock format is that rock is so passionate that many fans of rock music will close themselves off to other genres just because they feel it damages their rock cred. And that's just not true. There's so much good music out there. It's not just rock, just music in general. Listen to music. Love it. Experience it. Put some headphones on. Headphones. That's what I'll say. Headphones. Hashtag headphones.
Hashtag headphones.
And you
wow. Hello. I'm feeding you out.
All right. We can hear you.
Oh, okay. I just can't hear everybody else anymore.
Yeah, well. All right. So, dead air. Whoop, whoop.
That's a winner.
All right. So, Oz,
Guys,
you got something you want to say to the peoples?
Oh,
I think that was the question to both of us.
Yeah, I think it was. Just my thanks, I think, is Mitch throwing this party and just everybody coming out and just the idea of getting to say goodbye. Throwing one last final party. We were kind of known as the party animals, the people that, always just wanted to have a good time. And so, as Mitch said, come out, enjoy the music, enjoy the festivities. Let's celebrate this rock station that everybody was very passionate about. And my thanks just goes out that, we had a chance to be on the radio week to week and day to day. And, That's all I can really say about it. Let's have a good time, you know.
And speaking of the party, real quick, I want to make an announcement. This is an official announcement. This has not been brought up yet, but Oz will be doing karaoke at the party.
Oh, no shit.
He just found that out too.
Is this going to be full band karaoke? I mean, is this going to be like?
I don't know. It might. I think I might just put on some Led Zeppelin for you and let you go.
No, this has to be full band karaoke because I mean you're getting bands there to do covers, and I will get up there and I will perform some covers of songs we played. You damn right I will. I'll get up there and I'll rock out. I don't care. I'll have a good
now,
damn time and you'll like it.
If you haven't seen Oz do karaoke, you have to before you die.
Yeah,
I don't believe in promises. I don't believe in promises. If I say I promise, it's like the first girlfriend I ever had. She said, "I promise I won't break your heart." She totally did. So I don't believe in making promises because that's like bald-faced lying to you straight to your face, you know. But I'll tell you what, if I say I'm going to do something, I'll do something. So we picked some songs, and I get a chance to at least know where my cues are, and the band's playing behind me, and I'm on a PA. Game on.
Cool. So we have a man of his word here.
Yeah. I'm sure Mitch can vouch for me. I'll get up there and rock out.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
All right. And for those that don't know where this, when this party's taking place, can you do a little promo for it?
Yeah, it's June 13th at the Concourse at 7. We're going to open doors at 7. DeCambrio and Inward of Eden are the bands. And there's some more to come. The bands are going to be playing original songs and covers of ex-rock songs to keep the live music flowing through both the local X and the mainstream stuff. And we'll have a playlist, slideshow, and possibly some comedians, and most definitely Oz making an ass of himself.
You mean being a rock star? My God.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, that's what I thought I heard you say.
Sorry, I misspelled rock star with my mouth.
All right, Mitch, man, you're talking in cursive.
All right, and if we could get permission from the concourse, could we stream y'all? Do y'all care?
No, I don't care.
I don't care. I don't care if I get discovered that night. It's fine by me.
Right.
Yeah, no worries.
Now, Chris
wanna...
Casil is Not Out Music hosting this?
No, I'm putting it on entirely myself. The concourse was kind enough to give us the room for free.
Okay.
And so I've just been kind of putting this on myself with the help of Oz
so you're
and
doing it. So
a couple other people.
I guess we have to ask permission from you. Is it okay with you if we stream live?
Yeah, can we rerun the tape? Do we need to go to the official stenographer? Yeah, man.
Okay, no. I personally worked with Chris, and I know Chris is all about business. I mean, he is a great dude. Not Out Music has done,
yeah,
tremendous.
man. This party isn't business. This party isn't business at all. This party is a party.
Okay, man. I'm gonna take you at face value on that, man. And like I said, I've rubbed elbows with you professionally a few times, so I know when you say what you say, you mean it. So I would love. I mean, personally, I would love to be at this party and stream it live.
Right.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't really know what the logistics are on that, but fuck, if you got the capabilities, go for it.
Okay. And hey, you owe me some Jaeger lamps, by the way. I'm still waiting on you to make those for me.
I got to get some Jaeger bottles first.
I told you I will purchase the Jaeger bottles. And I will even help you drink the Jaeger bottles.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to
It appears that I'm waiting on you to consume some Jaeger.
All right, well, you guys can worry about that later.
Yeah, we'll confer on that later in the week.
All right. One last question from me. What kind of character does it take to work in the radio? What kind of drive do you have to have?
Passion.
You just have to have a drive. Yeah. You just have to be have to be dedicated and want to do it, want to get out there and do it. I mean, as far
You
as
have to
like,
love
the character, you have to just absolutely want to be there, and you just absolutely have to want to just get up every day and go in. And I mean, I know I mentioned I'll probably be the same on this. You know, it's not a job. It's just a good time. You know, I mean, nobody ever in radio bitched about, you know, going in. So I mean, you just love it. You know, you just love going in. You love being.
Yeah,
on
we
the
didn't make
radio,
shit.
Yeah, I mean, it was so. But
radio's a poor business to be in. I mean, we didn't make shit, but it was what we did. It's what we loved doing. It wasn't a job. It's
like I
the
said,
beginning of my
passion.
Saturday morning. You know, I mean, you have to do it out of love. I mean, if you go into it, it's like making music. If you go into it to make money, you're in the wrong business.
Yeah, you're going to fail.
You're in the wrong business, and people are going to know it. And as far as the character goes, it needs to be a character that you're comfortable with doing, a character that is, I mean, there's different kinds of characters. I mean, you can be a very polarizing character, but you always have to have that counterbalance. Very similar to Jay when he was here in Knoxville. You know, I mean, Jay's very liberal and, for all practical purposes, a hippie pussy. But, you know, he had to have the counterbalance of me and Navy Mike to go, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. You know, because it's you can't be too polarizing. So, I mean, even Howard Stern had his checks and balances. So as far as a character, make sure it's accessible. I mean, you don't want to be too far out there, but you want to be something that you're comfortable with. I mean, sit down, get a character page, and like write out what your character is, who they come from, where they are, their backstory. You know, I mean, these are all things that are come up if you're playing a character. What are the things that motivate them? What do they like? What do they dislike? You get in depth with a character if you're going to do one. I always say, do yourself.
Yeah, that one's a good one.
Excellent
Be yourself. Be yourself. Well, I don't mean to cut it short, but I got to jump off and go do the dad thing here, and you know,
it's code for he's got to go take a dump.
No, I took a dump before I got on the radio with you guys. Jeez, come on, man.
It's funny. I took a dump while I was on the radio.
That's just your character. That's just your character. My character. Anyway, but I appreciate it. You guys have fun talking. I'm gonna get off here. It's been fun, and I'll see everybody June 13th at the concourse. We're gonna say goodbye to the X. It'll be a good time. So appreciate it. I'm gonna sign off here for now, and we'll talk to you.
Thank you.
June 13th. It's a Saturday.
From the bottom of my heart, I appreciate everything you've done. I really do.
Same here.
Thank you. Thank all of you, and we'll see you June 13th.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Is he off the phone? Because I'm totally going to put my wiener in his mouth later.
Mitch, I heard that.
Yeah, see, did you hear that echo? He is in the bathroom. He's about to take a dump.
You know, I wouldn't be crashing if I showed up, would I?
Why would you be crashing?
I'm just asking. I would love to be.
No, I mean, I don't think anybody's going to crash.
Okay.
I mean, unless you have malintentions, then no. I mean,
no.
Yeah. Come one, come all.
I don't have that kind of energy or desire.
I honestly expect personalities from other stations to come.
Mitch, may I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm sorry, but
yeah, no worries.
Personal question. You know, like, are you still going to be a part of the music industry as far as like the shows coming up, or you know, the venues? Are you still going to be, you know, are you going to keep in touch with what fan base you have?
Absolutely. I mean, you know, I'm still. Sorry, I had to fart. The web series with the International is up and running. We're about to put out the third episode, and then we're going to kind of take some time during the summer to kind of hone it and figure out what we're doing, dropping bits here and there. As far as being in the scene, that's what I live for. I wasn't there because I was on the radio. I was there because I love live music.
Yeah, you wasn't there because of work. You were there because of pleasure.
Right. I just got to wear a really cool badge that made me look important.
Yeah, all access. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, other than that, I'm just there to get drunk and rock my face off. I mean, that's what I live for, is live music. That's why I'm so damn. Last weekend. No, not last weekend. The day after Manson, went to Slipknot on Cinco de Mayo. The 8th was Manson. The next morning, I woke up and got in the car with Chad and Ashley from Annandale and another friend, and we drove to Asheville to see Graveyard Clutch and Mastodon.
Nice.
I mean,
Now, Annandale, great band.
Absolutely, and really, really cool people.
Really good people.
And that's the other thing. As far as getting out of the scene, I can't because
you're locked.
No, I mean, these are my friends now. These are the
That's
people
what I mean.
that I associate with.
You build relationships with these people, and not just acquaintances. You actually build relationships with the bands. I mean,
no, Chad and Ashley are actually in the inner circle of awesome.
Yeah,
as well as Danny and Ashley from DeCambrio.
Yeah, Danny and Ashley and Richie from DeCambrio. Some of the greatest people I've met. Heather and Chuck Shalapoint. I consider them friends. I don't consider them associates.
Right. I mean, these are people that you look forward to seeing when you get to a venue, when you get to a show. I mean, there's those people that you're going to see when you go out.
Yeah, well, not only that you're going to see them, I talk to them on a daily basis. Maybe not, maybe Facebook or social media or, or through the phone or text, but I mean, you build a relationship like Mike Russell that had called in earlier from Divided We Stand,
Absolutely.
Great guy, all around great guy. Van Kale, another great
really,
man.
really cool guys. Absolutely.
Yeah, so I completely understand with that aspect of it. I mean, you have your associates, and then you have people that you actually build a bond with.
Absolutely, and that's what we were discussing earlier. I mean, you have those people that are obviously, it becomes apparent very quickly what their intentions are, and then you have the people that you can have those long conversations about random shit with. I mean,
yeah, exactly. Like you can associate with somebody and talk about the weather, or you can have your conversations of, hey, what are we drinking next week, or what are you doing tomorrow?
Right. And I mean that's again with radio. It was my dream, and it still is. But I mean, the people that's what it all comes down to, is the people that you get to meet, the people that you get to know. So as far as removing myself from the scene or just fading away from it, I can't do that. I won't do that. There's no way.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. There's a difference between can't and won't.
Yeah, I mean,
and won't's a better word.
I still feel really arrogant, being on this show as a representative of the X when I was on 2 days a week. I mean, radio was what I wanted to do, and it was fun, but it almost felt like just a hobby, almost. It wasn't a job. And it was the people that I knew that I got to see and hang out with. It was the socialization and the fellowship of music that really drove me. And the thing that I thought I was going to miss, but then I started, that's the first thing that goes through your head. And then you're like, well, then again, I'm not going to miss any of that unless I cause myself to.
Very true. Well, everybody wants to know, is there any chance, is there any chance at all that the X could come back? Somebody else could pick you all up?
It's absolutely possible. As far as if they would pick us back up, I would hope that if another company decided that they wanted to bring in an active rock format, that they would hit us up. But again, the nature of the business doesn't work like I hope it does. It's a very cutthroat and very competitive business. So, I mean,
Now,
as far as
the
having back
other-
what we had,
Sorry.
no, no problem.
Southeast Communications was the mother sponsor, basically. Is that correct or no?
Yeah, well, a quick history. I believe it was Andy Perkle started 94Z back in the early 90s. And then it became 94.3 The Planet. Then it went to Extreme Radio, and then to 94.3 The X, and then obviously it stayed The X. The hard rock, active rock format in Knoxville goes back to when that format was invented. I don't know when South Central Media either took over that format or whatever. I'm pretty confident that they owned The Planet at least. I'm not real confident on that, so don't quote me. But
Right.
What essentially happened was South Central Media went up for sale, the whole company, which owned clusters in Nashville, Evansville, which was their headquarters, and a couple other places. The whole company went up for sale. And Midwest Communications, based out of Green Bay, Wisconsin, bought it.
Okay, so it was basically a buyout.
Yeah. I mean,
Hello?
they were. We were shopping the station.
All
I
right.
mean, we put it out there like the station is up for sale. Who wants to buy it? Let's get some bidding going on. And Midwest was the one that we ended up selling to. None of those decisions obviously came from Oz, myself, or anybody else. Probably in the building in Knoxville. So.
All right.
But were you aware of the buying out prior, and just couldn't say anything, or was it just as much of as a surprise to you as your listeners?
Well, we knew the buyout itself, it didn't really affect anything. The buyout happened almost a year ago, maybe a little bit less. But as far as like the format flip for the X, no, we didn't have any idea. In fact, Wednesday, the day prior, we were ordering new staff shirts. Like, hey, Mitch, what size do you wear? Large. Okay, cool. We'll have them in.
Bitch, you wear bigger than a large, man.
No, man, I've been losing weight. I told you I got dumped, man. Depression diet does wonders for the
Hey, depression fucks you up, don't it?
Do what?
I said depression really fucks you up, don't it?
Yeah, man.
A person in general.
Pussy is a very, very powerful thing.
It really is.
All right, we do have somebody new that came in. Do you want to say something to Mitch?
Hello?
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 Hello? New person? Somebody's eavesdropping on our conversation. By eavesdropping, I mean listening to radio the hard way.
Yeah. We have somebody from Ohio.
Oh.
Ohio.
Right.
Why?
Hello?
Ray and Jen, how are you?
Hello?
What? How can we help you?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hey, it's Scott from Another Fine Mess.
Hey, how you doing?
DJ
How you guys
Sickness,
doing?
remember that song, Monster, you said that you like? This is Scott Roffey from Another Fine Mess.
How you guys doing?
Hello, Scott.
We're doing all right. We're
Awesome.
speaking with Mitch from the Local X, or 95.7.
Yeah, I just sitting here at home and started to talk to Jen, and thought I'd give you guys a call and say hey, and see what you guys are up to, and just say thank you for all the support you guys have been giving, not only our band but all the local unsigned bands out there. Just want to say really appreciate it, and
the pleasure
talked
is
to you guys
all
for a
ours.
while. Thought we'd say hi.
That's awesome.
Well,
Thank you so much.
What was the band name?
Another Fine Mess.
Another Fine Mess, correct?
Another Fine Mess. Now, what was this madness about Ohio I just heard?
Madness about Ohio. I don't know. There's always a madness in Ohio.
All right, somebody said there was somebody on the phone from Ohio.
Cool.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I was saying.
Yeah, it's Scott
Okay,
Robbie
is
from
an-
Another
is
Fine
it-
Mess.
Is Another Fine Mess based out of Ohio?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
What's your hometown in Ohio?
I am from Newark, and I believe most of us, all of us in the band actually, reside from Newark. So we pretty much, we all born and raised in Newark. I think we've all pretty much lived here, not left. And now we're just rocking the shit out of this town, or at least
Right.
trying to.
And you've got very, very awesome music. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I have to give you thanks for that. We
Thank-
actually play a couple
thank
of the songs.
Thank you. I tell you what, we just can't thank you guys enough. Since doing our first interview, with Jen Ray, it's just been an awesome thing to have the support of you guys. It helps us out a lot, and we just, like I said, we can't thank you guys enough for the support. We really appreciate it.
Scott, I apologize. I'm Mitch, and I don't have any idea who you are or your band. Where can I find your music?
You can look for our music on Reverb Nation. It's probably the easiest way. Just look up Another Fine Mess. It should be Another Fine Mess, Ohio. There's a couple other bands out there with the same name, but definitely we're the only one with our genre of music with that name.
Right.
But yeah,
Awesome.
Reverb is the easiest way. We just put up a couple new songs. Everything's free. I believe we even have some new videos on there as well.
Cool, man. I'll definitely check that out. With that being said, I just want to go on record and say that your state is awful.
Yeah, I'm actually from Cincinnati.
Sorry,
born
man.
there, but I lived there for a while. Love Ohio. Don't get me wrong. I'm a Bengals
I
fan.
have no love
yeah,
for Ohio.
Go ahead and fucking hate me
Scott,
now, but
Scott, I'm sure you being from Ohio, and I don't mean this in a bad way. I don't have any idea what who I am or what an asshole I am. I have reasons for hating Ohio, so don't be mad at me. But I do look forward to listening to your music because there's a lot of great music that comes out of Ohio.
Well, you know what?
not much else.
I guess that's something we have in common because there's a lot of things about Ohio I hate too.
Perfect.
I'm sure
Believe
that
me, I'm-
influences. I'm sure that the hate influences the music that you write and create.
Well, I maybe hate for certain things, but I think the love of music probably influences all of our writing and playing ability because we just absolutely freaking love music so much. But
Right.
That's the
now,
right
Scott,
answer.
May I ask you what position do you play in the band?
I play bass.
So you're a bass player.
Yes.
Okay. Just setting it out there. Do you want to give the list of the other band members?
Yeah. Our lead guy, vocals and guitar is Tim Reed. Second guitar is Jeff Batchelor, and Fred Coventry. He rounds it all up with pounding ass drum set.
Awesome.
And this is one of the baddest bands I've heard out of Ohio, hands down.
Yeah,
Hands
we
down.
play I've personally heard a couple sons, which I thank you for. By the way, you guys rock it.
no problem.
I haven't had a chance to sit down and listen to the entire album.
Yeah, you get a chance. Definitely do it, Mitch. Like I said, Reverb's the easiest place to get it. It's all free.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Reverb Nation.
That's our big thing. We're not in it to get rich. We're in it because we love the fuck out of playing music, playing hard, and just sharing it with everybody. So
that's what
I feel like you've been listening longer than you pretended you've been listening.
Yeah. But no, I mean that's
mess.
That's great.
I have to say, when Ray asked me to help interview Another Fine Mess.
Band from Ohio?
It was my first interview, and I have to tell you, these guys are just so personable, so great, and their music is just so wonderful that I told them then, and it's the same now. It's the happiest, best panic attack I've ever had.
Yeah, it's like a privilege. It's not like a privilege. It is a privilege to interview.
But did you feel the same way when you found out we were from Ohio, Jen? Were you like, oh shit, another band from Ohio?
I don't care where somebody's from. I mean, if they're in it because they love it, and we can help them, and you know what I'm saying? It's like we just love people, and I just have to say, they really blew my mind because I always had this like. I guess that was my major question for Another Fine Mess was, what is the major misperception of metal bands that there is about you as metal band, as a metal band, and that really opened doors for them to explain who they really are as people compared to their outlet, and they do an amazing job outletting. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So I tell you what, let's do it this way, because there's a lot of different kinds of metal. My dog's name is Lemmy, for God's sake. I'm a metalhead.
There you go.
Through and through.
Yeah,
so,
Lemmy Kilmister.
I found in my years the best way to describe music to somebody or a band, and you're going to hate this question, Scott, because every artist does, and I hate it too, but again, I found like if you're talking to somebody who's never heard a band, the best way to get it across to them is to compare them to other bands. Now, I'm not asking you to compare yourself to one band. I'll give you three. The love child of what three bands?
I think when we last talked to, you guys, one of our, I can't really speak for the other guys, but one of the big influences for us was, at least Tim and I, was, Biohazard, kind of the old school hardcore, bands.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a question that I think every musician doesn't like to answer because there are so many influences.
Well, yeah, and you certainly don't want to compare yourself to another artist.
Yeah, every artist
because that's
they're their own thing. They create their own.
That's why I gave you three.
My personal, I would say my three favorite were probably, Biohazard, old school Guns N' Roses, and right now I would have to say the band Muse. Those are probably my three, major influences. And
do those three influences come out dramatically within the music?
My own music, I would say yes.
Okay.
For the rest of the guys, each of us has got our own, influences. And some of the other guys are into some kind of the newer modern kind of stuff, like a Periphery. We kind of, use some of the influence of the old school stuff, like old Rat, Metallica.
Yeah.
Stick Up All.
I got you. I'm starting to gather what to expect, and that's good. That's what I wanted.
Well, we appreciate you coming on, Scott, and everything, and it's always awesome, when bands come on and want to pay respect, and we're just as honored as you are. The fact that we're able to play your music, and the fact that we're able to help you reach a broader audience, we're just happy.
So again, like I said, we couldn't thank you guys enough for for doing what you guys do. You guys aren't out for to make to get rich on it either. I mean, you're out there because you're doing what you guys love to do. To be on the radio, to promote bands, and we, like I said, we couldn't thank you guys enough. So, and I try to tell, and the other guys do. We try to tell everybody we can about you guys, to listen and promote you as well, because you helped us out and got our name out there, and it's definitely helped. And I think we need more radio stations, like you guys, independent people are out there just to do what they love to do also.
The pleasure is all ours, man. I mean, I love sitting back listening to your music, so that gives me 4 to 5 minutes at a time to appreciate, so, you don't really have to thank us. I mean, the pleasure is all ours, wholehearted.
And not to take away from Mitch, because we're more of the underground station, podcast, whatever you want to call it, than what Mitch did. Mitch was actually on FM, and he was part of a station that closed down.
Yeah, that's why I kept saying Nickelback, man. Did you notice how he shouted out to Nickelback like 4 times tonight?
Yeah.
You got their CD in your fucking player right now, don't you?
No, I think my dad owns the only Nickelback CD I ever owned, because I was like, here, man, you can have this.
I will say Nickelback throws a hell of a shows, though. I was at one of their shows.
That's what I've heard.
And they actually gave everybody
more money.
How was the Clutch show, Mitch? I mean, not to kind of get away from
correct
the interview tonight, but how was the Clutch show? I did not get to make it.
Which one?